Hello, everyone, and welcome to Week 7 of Valanth Silver Gold League. We have Hentai Haven versus Claytron's Academy. I am Rook, and I'm joined by Mythic Warpig. There's a little something special about this game today. Could you tell us a little bit more about it, I think?
Well, I can tell you a couple of things. One of them is we have a brand new team we're watching for the first time in Claytron's Academy. So we're going in a little bit blind to half of this, and the other special thing I can tell you is the Hentai Havens desperately need this win. They want to keep their hopes of playoffs alive.
Yeah, they are set up currently to potentially make playoffs if they win their next two games in a row. They have Claytrons first, and then they have Winhow, which will be a much closer game. As far as what we're aware, we're not sure of how strong Claytron's Academy will actually be. If you look at the standings say Claytron's Academy are terrible, but that's because they haven't been in the league for these first 6 weeks. So they're definitely an enigma coming in here.
Absolutely, and obviously we've seen a lot of forfeits, so every team has sort of benefited from that, and their standings have changed a little bit. So this will be a good sort of litmus test to find out where they place in the teams, even though they're not going to get the full complement of games. It's going to be important for Hentai Havens to try and find out if they are ahead of this team or not. A couple of the names we might have seen around, but it is mostly brand new, so let's find out together.
It's certainly going to be interesting and fun to kind of come on with a surprise and pleasant surprise. Hopefully, Claytrons. I'm looking for them to potentially perform at least at a similar level to Hentai Haven, because Hentai Haven are particularly high up in terms of the table. So it's not a rough start for them to come into this league straight off like this, as we will be getting into the ban phase.
Yeah, absolutely. And as we sort of said, we're going a little bit blind, so it'll be interesting to see what Hentai Haven prioritize here. If they're going to look to sort of defend themselves or take away some of the few priority picks that we've seen from Claytrons so far.
Yeah, unsurprising to see that Caitlyn get taken away. Caitlyn is a very strong champion in general, so just taking away these power picks as well, specifically. The Renekton in a similar vein, to be.
Yeah, and something you brought up to me before was Somtha's champion pool got a few priority picks he seems to pick up on. The Lux in particular, Morgana, and he's been practicing another champion, which I won't say in case they haven't found, which we're going to expect to get removed from the pool here as well.
Yeah, I certainly do expect that. Though Somtha has a pretty wide champion pool, they all are very support orientated. This one isn't, but I hope to see it. The Tristana getting taken away, it's not the pick we were looking at, but Kathy has played a decent bit of it, so want to take that away from them as they come.
Yeah, and Tom Cena's Aatrox, big pick there. Fan of the Bruiser playstyle, it would seem. So Olaf, Hecarim, that thing up in the top lane, quite strong for him. As there's the Lux pick gone away from Somtha, and we'll see what Hentai Havens kind of prioritize on the blue side with their first pick.
Yeah, I also like the Hecarim man, because Techo Libre has been playing a wide variety of junglers, and that is one of them that has come up again and again in the channel. Shen being picked here by MotoJoe, looking to try and prioritize aggression around the map, try and put a band-aid on that bot lane and set them up for.
Yeah, and I expect this we might look to see a much more aggressive bot lane pickup from Hentai Haven here. Like the Kaiser and the Vel'Koz, or some kind of heavy burst poke to come through the bot lane, which Shen naturally supports, as he can just be there in a jiffy if things go wrong. And maybe as a preemptive response to that, the Braum comes in, quite obviously the defensive pick. Maybe they're anticipating that aggressive bot style.
Indeed they are. And that'd be interesting to see. Generally, Hentai Haven don't have the strongest bot lane, in my opinion. But if you're looking to play around them, it could be something they've done a lot of practice for recently. It's an interesting strat to start off the best of three, because this is the best of three you're watching. The Sejuani getting picked up by Natecho Libre. Again, since Natecho Libre doesn't play a lot of specific junglers, I really like Sejuani. It's strong. It's Swiss Army knife. You can engage, disengage. Well, those two things.
Those are the two ways you can do anything.
That's all you need to do, right?
That's true. Interesting Olaf pickup there. It is something that Delight plays a lot, but it also might be that takeaway from Tom Cena. So I really like it here. And whatever they lock in here, you can expect everything else is going to get pinched. We've already seen Claytrons ban out a top laner, an AD carry, and a mid. They get to choose which lane they can now target ban and really squeeze the champion pool out as the Zyra comes through, presumably for a Dorkable. which means Kathu and Somtha will have a limited pool of champions when it comes to the second rotation.
I definitely wouldn't count out that the Zyra could be for Somtha. Has played a little bit of it occasionally, and Somtha has been known for flexing champions between support role and mid role. He has been playing both in this league, as far as I'm aware, and does often play both of those. So not surprised to see that. Talking about no surprises, the Yorick picked up for Tom Cena does have a lot of games.
Yeah, and a sort of natural extension once you've got past his main 2 picks. Yorick's something he's comfortable on. Obviously, you're going to like that. I do want to, if it is going to be this Zyra, I'm going to really want to see something picking up Clem. As we see the Sejuani locked in, that is an easy target, that Zyra. And the Jan is being pinched away, so clearly actually might think it is in the mid lane.
Yeah, that does show that they're expecting that to be a mid lane Zyra. Though that's the thing about having these flex picks is you can bait out bans towards one another. And I think that's a very strong suit of this Hentai Haven team, is that they can flex this around because, for example, it could be a Zyra Maid and a Shen support in a very different scenario.
Yeah, I kind of want to pull focus onto the Kai'Sa, what happens with it here, because it is an AD carry that we've seen, kind of seen on both sides, both Kathu and Korzai play it. Hasn't got banned yet, and I expect it will take priority in this draft if we see another AD carry banned as the Varus has already been taken away.
Yeah, the Draven getting banned away from Kathu. Kathu has played a couple of games on it this season. If they're looking to play this aggressive bot lane, it makes a lot of sense. It is still a bit Hail Mary and hit and miss, as I did say. They're not the strongest bot lane. But here we see that Kai'Sa you were talking about earlier.
Yeah, not really surprised once the Draven's taken away. It's a good pick into pretty much everything. And with no Caitlyn on the board, with no Varus on the board, defaulting to the Kai'Sa makes perfect sense here. And it's that great Braum Kai'Sa lane. I'd love to see perhaps a Shen flex into the bot as a support. It is very good into that Braum Kai'Sa duo, as you do have that shield from his W, the Spirit's Refuge. Makes it light work of their auto attacks, but we'll have to see if they can adapt to that or if they have a good pick in mind.
Mm-hmm. The Vayne getting hovered here by Kathu is going to get locked into this Kai'Sa. Definitely a very interesting pick. It is possible as a top flex. I'm not expecting it. Obviously, we'll have clarification in just 20 seconds. But I'm definitely expecting this. Oh, no, it's looking like it is going to be that Shen top, as they're going to pick a hard engaged support here, which makes a lot of sense.
Rounds out the comp. It's very nice. Zyra, terrible at getting into a fight. Olaf, great, but he needs sort of someone to keep people in place so he has a chance to run them down. So I like the Nautilus. I don't know about the Vayne Nautilus into Kai'Sa Braum. I give that to Kai'Sa Braum. If they can sort of dodge the initial engage pre-6, they're going to have a field day. So Vayne's going to have to play it safe. We'll have to see what Claytron's round up their comp with. I feel like they need some sort of, team fight. And there it is. Layering that on top of the Sejuani. Very nice. Strong Orianna pick. And I think into the Zyra probably quite effective. Poke from Shadowhopper is going to be pretty consistent, and Zyra with no health gonna take some work if you can try and chip the Orianna down to avoid being in kill range.
Indeed, it is. This Zyra is. It is that flex we were talking about. I'm surprised to see it actually come out. I don't particularly like it here. It's the Orianna as like a blind pick. Mid laner, I feel like it has a lot of weaknesses. I think it's potentially because you've done that scouting out on Shadowhopper, and they don't play a lot of potentially aggressive picks, so it does feel a lot safer. But as you said, into the Sejuani as a ball carrier, that's going to be one dead plant.
Mm-hmm. And there's still the Ignite Hub, and please change it. Please just take cleanse. For your sake, take cleanse.
It doesn't look like it. Looking to get aggressive.
Well,
which is not surprising. The Zyra definitely has a lot of strength early because it's a support and therefore has large base stats.
Yeah, and scales decently well. You know, it's not the mid lane AP carry it's designed to be. Still strong damage, but I can just see what's happening level 6, and unless Hentai Havens can really disrupt the early game, that's just going to be a kill.
Indeed, it is. It's definitely going to be down to a lot of outplaying and positional awareness from something. Otherwise, they will be getting pretty chunked out pretty darn quickly. I want to look at this top lane though. Motojo on this Shen.
Do you?
Into Tom Cena on Yorick. No. It doesn't feel like a very good lane. That's the thing. I feel really worried for Motojo here. It's very difficult to fight into Yorick because most of the time Shen wants to be split pushing. Yorick does the exact same thing. While Shen has that wider teamfight presence, I think Tom Cena could just bully him so much that it's going to be very difficult to actually get off and do anything you need to do.
Yeah, you might be right. I mean, Shen's never supposed to win any fights, right? He's supposed to just keep someone there and then disappear. I just don't see that lane being particularly interesting to watch. I'll be honest.
No, not to watch, but just to discuss in the fact that I think Hentai Haven don't have any particularly great winning lanes, and I think that could really hurt them in this game.
Yeah, you're right. You don't send Zyra into Yorick. She's not the kind of mid lane that can go and split push, and obviously you can't really do without the Vayne in your team. She's short ranged as well, so that doesn't really help her into the Yorick. So you're right. They do have a clear win condition if this Yorick can get snowballing ahead, and there might be some activity up there. But overall, I think Yorick's just going to safely do whatever he does with the shovel, make some zombies. I really don't understand that champion, but he'll probably have a field day smacking down turrets. Because that seems to be what Yorick's doing in my games.
I mean, yeah, he's generally the game plan for those Yoriks, so looking to try and get that split push off. So if we look at the 4v5, is it possible for Claytrons to find that right engage and just win the fight before the Stand United actually becomes relevant in bringing in another?
Absolutely. The Sejuani with the long range engage, Kai'Sa can follow up, typically ups into a Zhonya's if she's going to do that. Orianna's ult over the top. If they can find that engage with the Sejuani, you've got the secondary CC from Braum. They have a great teamfight team. And it's got enough burst damage that Zyra or Vayne are going to die before Shen can arrive, at which point you have a 5v4. And it's, there's not really much damage following it up. So it's going to be on Claytrons to find those team fights, but they do have a good disengage as well. That Braum ult does give you a good window to run away. Orianna's ult can be used to disengage, at least her dissonance can, which will buy time for the Yorick. So I like that they have good flexible options of if they want to go in and if they want to stay back. Couple of good win conditions that we'll see from here. We'll have to find out how this new team performs.
Yeah, I do like their pick and ban from his, from at least the first glance. Whether they're going to be able to execute it is a different matter. But for the most part, their bot side and jungle or mid do mesh together quite well, as much as the Yorick is a little bit out of place, as it often feels in a lot of comps, unless you're playing 1-3-1, which is, again, very difficult to actually pull off. It just doesn't feel right. It feels like you should be working as a team rather than playing with a side lane, and especially against a comp where there's actually a decent amount of poke with things like Zyra being able to dish out a large amount, even though they have these short-ranged AD carries and the Olaf in the jungle.
Yeah, agreed. And what I really want to see is what happens at level 6 for everybody, because Olaf, incredibly strong level 6, basically nullifies Sejuani's. But Sejuani's ult is incredibly powerful if she can find the fight. So whoever groups up first, I think, is going to have a massive advantage in the 5v5. There's no way you can take the fight to them. If Hentai Havens can somehow use the Shen ult aggressively, which is always the dream, it's going to be a sort of an easy fight around the bot side, potentially into Dragon, see if they can boost the game from there. Because I think if they don't get that sort of catapult into the mid game, I think they're going to quite easily get outscaled there.
Certainly do, and it looks like we're going to have Hentai Haven moving towards this mid area, trying to catch them off guard. Definitely using that Nautilus, you want to be able to catch players up. But there's the pings. Dark Chance sees it right away. Is still hanging around. This is a big mistake. They see him, but that's a fail hook from a door.
And he knows it. Spams out the Vel'Koz. Worth a try, right? There's no harm in just throwing that one out there. He's going to get his mana back. He's going to take Q anyway, so that's fine. Worth going for. Nothing really lost. They haven't given up too much vision, so commend it.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's not too much of a loss. It's just what could have been. That could have been a really nice opportunity for, as we were speaking about, where Hentai Heaven need to get ahead towards that mid game and definitely move in with an advantage. This could have been the perfect thing for them to do that and then abuse the advantage that they had.
Yeah, you're right. And that's not to say that they can't take a fight in the late game. It just becomes much, much more difficult. When you think about what people offer to a fight, Shen compared to Yorick is going to hit hard later on. Braum is going to always be that peeling threat with the built-in shield from his wall. Whereas Nautilus's engage, while is great, doesn't really offer anything in the extended fight. Brom is always going to be consistently able to defend his AD carry. When you have Kaiser and Vayne, whomever can be defended and sort of shielded a little bit longer is going to take the advantage. So we'll just have to see how that plays out. But it could be an interesting 5v5. I expect it to come down to sort of a mid game from Hentai Haven and more of a late game from Vayne.
Indeed. Taking early trades in the mid lane, seeming very aggressive. This is exactly what you want to see if you're the Zyra, because you have those early base stats, which can be so very strong.
Yeah, and that range advantage, which can't really be understated. She does have one of the highest ranges in the game, especially level 1. So could be quite good to score some poke. She has got Arcane Comet, so it is looking to poke things down here.
Yeah, they're gonna get the ignite. That's gonna go on through. Will flash away, but Shadowhopper is barely going to go down as an invade comes in from Tetra Libre, but is getting run down by the Olaf. There's the flash, there's the auto, and the axe. Delight will pick up a kill, and that's 2 kills early on from Hentai Haven. Exactly what we want to see from them.
Perfect start for Hentai Haven, and you just saw right there the Zyra comes in, drops the ignite, gets the barrier, and then the cannon minion bro comes in, gets the last hit. Fortunate in some ways from Sunflower, but takes the fight in the minions as he should, and it's a really nice fight.
And this is going to be now the opportunity to push this aggressively. But Joe takes a lot of damage to the top lane. That is what the Yorick can do, especially by using those minions. But we see a gank coming in straight away. Delight with these double buffs, looking to get damage onto Don Cena, force him out potentially, and just take control of this top lane for Mojo and give them the opportunity to do basically the safe play that they need to in order to impact the game at level 6.
Yeah, and I liked the idea of the gank, but ultimately it wasn't really necessary. Tom Cena had basically burned through his mana. He had to choke through all his pots, and he's still at only half. And the wave's in a lovely position. So whilst that was nice from Delight to sort of secure pressure for Mojo, I'm not sure it really earned him much when he'd just taken the buffs off Sejuani and could have been more aggressive. So a good play, but I think there's quite a bit of opportunity cost there from that. Sejuani's now sort of been able to sneak her way into the bot side, and he's probably looking for a gank.
Yeah, this is not looking good for the bot side. There's aggression on the top side, but it's not going to amount to much. It is going to be the bot side where everything's going wrong now for Hentai Haven. The flash comes out from the Tetra Libre. Doesn't quite get it down and get the extra stun, but unfortunately for Claytrons, they don't find their first kill in an opportunity that could have been great.
Yeah, great move from Catherine. Good flash. Not the best of executions there. From Claytrons. A good idea and it's a good gank, but well done to Catherine for sort of heading that fight off.
Yeah, Tom Cena now trapped by the Olaf. Delight, definitely the player to watch here, as they're doing so much damage, they're getting everywhere, abusing the early power of this Olaf, and this is exactly what we want to see from Hentai Haven. We were talking about the early power of the Olaf and the Zyra, and that's exactly what.
Yeah, no donations there from Delight. He's taking that kill. He's snowballing the game himself. He doesn't want to give it over to the Shen. And fair play to him. He isn't enough. Nice ganking, good path. But Tom Cena's overextended with no wards, so yeah, he has himself to blame for that one.
Certainly does it, but that's a kind of a symptom of playing this Yorick, is you want to push in heavily. The issue is that you just can't in more coordinated games, and that's why he does see a lot less play. He sees a decent amount of play in the classic ranked, but when it comes to competitive, does tend to fall off because of just the awareness of.
Yeah, I actually really want to highlight something there's a great ward just north of the Chicken Brushes from Hentai Haven, which has spotted out Natasha Libre and is allowing the bot lane to just be as aggressive as they want. And you see they've already done a little bit of damage to the plates, which you wouldn't normally expect from a Vayne. They've just been able to be really far forward in this lane because they've just permanently spotted out Natasha Libre, with the exception of that one gank, which they've now couple warded, just in case he decides to do it again.
Yeah, and this is really great water vision usage so far from the side of Hentai Haven, as it's just key to getting aggressive in these early games, because if one gank goes badly, you start to feel really bad. Everything slows and grinds down to a halt. That is the worry that you have, and by using this great vision, you're really countering.
Yeah, and we've seen that Zara's hit level 6. She's going to get her back off, and I expect to play around the bot side. Delight said, no, I'm not going to wait for that. He's already started out the dragon, is 2/3 of its health. He's just going to take this away.
Yeah, Olaf can do this really early, and it's nice to be able to get that as quickly as possible, especially with it being Mountain Drake, a very strong dragon looking towards that mid and late game. Obviously not strong early on, but will provide a lot of bonus.
It's going to be powerful for the Baron, but I actually think Playtron's are most happy seeing that one. Vayne and Zyra aren't going to take long to kill Baron anyway, but something like an Ocean Drake, like an Infernal, like a Cloud Drake, on this team would have been better. So I think of the deals, that's probably the best one Playtron's going to hope for. Still not good to lose the Dragon that early. But it is what happens when your Olaf is invaded level 3 and turns around and kills the enemy.
Yeah, it was a big mistake from Nitecho Libre not respecting the power of that Olaf early. We do see a lot of trading back and forth towards the bot lane. Dorkable using that Nautilus to great effect in terms of getting aggressive. Hasn't quite gotten a kill yet, but I like the moxie, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's that kind of aggression, willingness pushing the towers. That's in the 20 CS lead already. I mean, he's going to even out with about farm, but you know, that's still 15 CS. This early on, that's a considerable lead, and that's like scales into the game. You expect Tyson really to be doing a bit better than this. So well played so far from Hendehaven.
Indeed it has. The Olaf was looking for a lane gank. Unfortunately, there was vision, which will prevent that gank from actually going through. So nice awareness by the side of Claytrons, but unfortunately unable to really flex their muscle early on in this game, as they don't have a lot of strength here. They're definitely looking to try and hold up towards this late game, mid and late game, and from there they should be able to take control.
Yeah, but now is the time they have to take action. Nitecho Libre's just hit level 6. He's just going to clear out a few more cannons, and we need to see him going mid bot lane. Heck, finding the jungler with his mid laner roaming. He needs to put his ulti in quite quickly. Otherwise, like, we're going to see a healthy advantage for Hendehavens going into Rift Herald spawns, going to second Drake, which is ultimately going to be a catalyst for the rest of the game.
Indeed it will be. You need to stem the bleeding with this Sejuani early on, so you don't start to hemorrhage anything else. I do like the deep warding that they have been utilizing. They're definitely very strong and respectable, especially even putting red wards deep into the enemy jungle, trying to track Delight, who is that strong player for the side of Hendehaven right now, so definitely deserves a lot of that respect, which is going towards him.
Yeah, he's done well. You can see him teaming up with his jungler on the bot side. I just gotta say, this Zyra has consistently been shoving Soriana in the tower. Dropped a few CS, but it's been applying a lot of pressure. I'm thinking about myself, because it's done a lot of work so far.
Dude, it has Kathu getting aggressive in this bot lane, flashes away from the knockup from the Braum there. Perhaps a little bit overzealous, pushing too far forward, but will at least get a little bit harassed down and continue to take control and push the aggressiveness that they've been flaunting in this.
Yeah, and it's just it's testament to how far forward they've been playing that he's flashing backwards because he's too far engaged. You know, he's not flashing forward for a kill. He's running away despite winning the trade. It's been good to see bot lane, a nice help from Dark Chance, but obviously this bot lane is not playing out how he thought, with Vayne exerting so much pressure over this guy. So still that 20 CS lead.
Yeah, definitely very impressive. Was expecting something to go down when we saw both junglers towards that bot side, but unfortunately Nitecho Libre not able to find an opening. As we still see him go back out on the map, not having used that ultimate, as we see Delight coming in for their fourth gank, I believe fourth gank of the game, as Tom Cena will most likely be going down. Delight is going to chase him right to the very end. Both champions have flash up, but doesn't really need it. There's the ultimate from Nitecho Libre, but it's too little too late, and having very little impact on this map early on.
Yeah, and it's a great timing play. I want to see Delight now immediately rotate to this Rift Tail, knock it down, and then see if he can make some space for Sampha, if he can, because as a timing game, that's perfect for just spawn. So see if he can try and exert pressure around that top side of the map before the Drake comes up, and he can just consistently be contesting these objectives. Really good so far from Delight, being in that Nitecho Libre space or first to the play whenever he needs to be, and it's been very good.
Certainly has. And getting right on into the jungle, getting that vision down. You see a red ward in the mid brush early on there, and Nitecho Libre just constantly being caught out. The slow comes down. Obviously, there's the Shen ultimate. They are really looking to put so much value onto Delight here. They continue to go aggressive. The Tetra Libre will just about survive. Same can be said for Delight here. But here's the knock-up. The flash will come through from Shadowhopper, who continues to put on damage as the Ignite doesn't quite finish off. And two members of Claytron's escaping, barely licking their wounds. Same can be said for the other side.
Yeah, it's very important that those two both survive there. They're going to lose a lot of pressure, but 600 gold, both in the hands of probably the Zyra. Very fortunate to survive. You see Motojo's sort of struggling with a lot of pressure from that fight. He's come away quite low and he's getting hunted down by the Maiden.
Yeah, there is a lot of tower pressure here. Thomasina definitely understanding what he needs to be able to do on that Yorick and just putting all the pressure down, gets that plate. And this is where you're getting a lot of your money early on. Yorick doesn't necessarily get those kills early on, but will get those plates. Again, very aggressive from Kathu, who rolls forward, will just about go down to that Ignite from Dark Chance, and just no respect for the defensive power of this Braum. As a Dorkable, it's going to flash, but still almost certainly going to go down here as the final auto comes in from Korzai. And nice play across the map from Claytrons as they're starting to get a little bit back into this game.
Yeah, and finally a couple of picks. Very important. The gold now at 1.1k behind. They'll be okay with this. They'll be even happy with the fact that they're now on the Dragon and going to take this away, evening up the Mountain Drake. That advantage that Delight gained them early, completely gone with this being taken away. So really important for Claytrons to sort of keep within touching distance. As we see a lot of vision coverage towards the top side of the map, but nothing on the bot side from Hentai Havens. We could see an additional play around this bot end. There's just no vision coverage on either side.
Indeed we could, as we do see Delight hanging around in that area, going to clear some of the vision in the bot side river. Definitely doesn't want to be caught rotating. Same can be said for Somtha, as Somtha has been looking for lots of opportunities to try and push that advantage. And the fact that they always have the lane pushed up into the opposing tower.
Yeah, and Somtha sacrificed CS for it. He hasn't found perfectly and fallen behind, but he has given up CS to make these roams. You gotta merit if that's been worth it. So far it has, although Claytrons did manage to find that kill. If he can keep applying the pressure and allowing Delight these accesses in, the 3-0 Olaf is going to make up more than enough for a couple of waves of missed farm. So if something can keep bouncing those minions into the wave, he has a long time to return back. We'll have to see if Olaf can make value of it. As is now, we're looking to see Natasha Libre heading up towards the top side.
Yeah, Motojo is just about going to get locked up there. Tetra Libre taking a lot of damage, will just go down, and that's a kill in the top side, and that's looking towards a lot of tower damage now as they're down to 25 more seconds.
Yeah, and this is really good. I mean, we're past the point of turret plates, so crack this tower open and just enable Thomasina. Really nice gank, very well played. No check really can do anything about it, and got his flash as well for nothing. So just great play from Claytron's Academy. I do want to see, and I never get to see it, a team heading towards that Rift Skull as they're finally pinging it and hopefully trying to crack this mid lane. Claytrons really need to find themselves in the mid game pretty soon. So opening up that mid lane tower is going to be very important.
It certainly is. But just 3 minutes ago, they were behind by 1 to 2k. And with a string of kills, a dragon, and a tower, they're going to get so much. Somtha gets aggressive here. Motojo drops the Stand United. Somtha is going to go down, but Motojo still gets 2 for 1 here. Shadowhopper with no mana. And this is really nice play from Somtha. Understanding, sometimes your life is worth more to the cause than anything else. The Shadowhopper is going to barrier to just about still go down as Motojo with that Tiamat able to finish.
Ooh, okay. Now I get it. I see why teams don't go for Rift Skull. I shouldn't call for it so many times, as now it's going to be Hentai Havens pressuring the mid tower and looking to break it down. As we don't see any action in this bot lane like we thought we did. It's all been about this top side, which we wrote off as boring. So what do we know? But it's been a really good play from Somtha. A lovely roam. He is taken down, but he does stop that Rift Herald. So it's definitely worth it, as you said.
Absolutely, and now his own team turns towards that Rift Herald. They have the wave pushing, they have the mid priority, there's no tower there. It's going to be very difficult if you're Claytrons to actually get on in this. Somtha is clearing a lot of those walls. Kathu with a brilliant dodge. Unfortunately for Adorkable, they're the one caught by the Glacial Prison. Stalkable also going to get knocked up so much DC. We do see the Killer Instinct coming in from Korzai, so they can get aggressive on there and help finish off that kill. But again, players getting caught out on this bot side. The bot lane of Hentai Haven, unfortunately, just that little bit too aggressive, but they really can't afford it.
Yeah, communications there. They will put that one down too. Like, you want to think of it from a macro sense, he traded his life for the Rift Herald. Like, Sejuani could have been there. So in that sense, he's traded, but really they could have stood close to that turret. What I do want to see now is what they do with the Rift Herald, and I hope it's this bot lane tower. They managed to crack mid lane. Oh, we have a fight. It seems like everyone's walking away. I want to see if they drop this Rift Herald in the bot lane and really try to just give as much gold as they can to this lane and try and accelerate them. Or if they're going to look to sort of alleviate the pressure on Shen and crack that tower there. It's going to be interesting to see what they prioritize, because obviously whichever lane they pick is the one that's going to be free to move around the map.
Yeah, it certainly is. And I think what you want to do more than anything is unlock the bot lane. As much as I think Motojo's been fantastic in this game, because they have the Stand United, it's much easier for them to rotate, even if they're pushed under tower. Sorry, not pushed under tower. Even if they are still stuck in this lane. So I think it's definitely more sensible to try and unlock that bot side.
Agreed, 100%. And let's finally talk items. We see the Kai'Sa going this the Muramana build, which is obviously looking to scale into that mid to late game, as you'd expect from a game with a Vayne in it. You want to at least be able to go toe to toe and not prioritize that Storm Raiders. But most importantly, we're finally seeing the Triforce out from Yorick, which should mean he can now kind of claim back control from this lane, despite being that level down from a Shen, who we've seen Shen giving as good as he's got so far in this lane. Like, now that the Yorick can probably fight back, it's going to be very important to see the state of this map, as everyone's posturing around this Infernal Drake.
They are. Unfortunately, Claytron's unable to do all too much. Kathu does have the Stand United popped onto him, getting very aggressive here. Big taunt. Korzai gets completely destroyed on the backside, and Tetra Libra is getting aggressive, but unfortunately gets stunned up, and he's unable to find very much as Delight just rips and tears through two members of the Clay.
And that is the acceleration team fight we really wanted to see from Hentai Haven. Perfect. That's going to give them this mid-game advantage. 3 kills. And Infernal Drake, look to see what they can do now with the Rift Herald as well. This has been an incredible play from them, and it should be exactly what they need to skip over any worries they had that Claytrons might have posed with that seemingly comeback when they closed the gold lead. It's now up to over 2k.
Yeah, this is exactly what you want to see. And now with Shelly, they are going to keep on pushing up this bot side. They have 5 members there. Thomasina is pushing in these waves, but it doesn't really matter too much. Not a great macro play to treat a tier 1 for a tier 2, as Haven definitely getting very aggressive here, dealing a lot of damage to...
They've overstayed.
Yeah, they will be giving up this top tower for it. Unfortunately, they don't manage to trade that tier 2, and it feels a lot less valued. As the gold lead is only 1.5 still.
And a great defense from Claytron, just holding them off. Given Tom Cena the time he needs to smack the turrets down, he's going to... We're going to see this a lot. This, I feel like, is how the rest of the game is going to go, where most of Claytrons are somewhere, Tom Cena is somewhere else entirely, and taking down the tower. But he is going to trade his life for it. I call worth.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the way you see a lot of Yorick's playing. They trade up, they get tower, they die because the rest of the team has rotated to stop them. But on the backside, you did actually trade quite well, considering that you came off the back of a pretty lost team fight. You lost 3 members to 0, lost 1 tower, and then traded 1 back instantly, but lost another player. So, on the whole, pretty worth, I'd say.
Yeah. I mean, Hentai is still going to be very happy with the Infernal Drake as we go into the late game. Vayne, Zyra, Olaf, really happy with that ability to have just more damage. But Claytron's doing what they can to hold it back. They really do need to be making sure any trades they make are at least neutral from now on, as we see their sort of, this Yorick needs to get himself level, if not ahead, in the mid to late game. So they definitely need to be making these even trades. And we're starting to see now Vision drop down to the Baron as it has spawned. Don't expect anyone to be taking it too soon. But good to see that everyone's sort of warding it out. There's a lot of vision from Hentai Haven.
Indeed there is. I really like it. They've been trying to control it. Yeah, I think it's definitely a very important thing is they can destroy it very quickly. So if they keep it covered, there's not much you can do if you're Clatrons. And as soon as you make a mistake, as soon as you move to bot side, potentially counter something, or if you lose your jungler here, that's instantly an opportunity for Hentai Haven to go on in, and they are taking every chance that they have. Something takes a lot of damage. There we see the killer instinct as Korizai is trying to get aggressive here. They do lose something, but they take so much damage in response. The tumble forward for Kathu isn't quite enough, but they're going to go straight at the Baron. That's exactly what I was saying. You can go from any position, take one kill, and with that advantage, because you deal so much damage, because you have that mountain trait, Baron is gone.
Yeah, we should have highlighted the Olaf build, which I seem to have neglected. There's a BF sword in there. He's going for the damage, did a lot of work in that fight. Really took that 3-0 lead from the start and just put the team back and carried with it. It's been a good performance from Delight, as you highlighted, a key player for the team. And yeah, it doesn't look like he's going to slow down on this damage build with the BF sword.
Yeah, I expect that BF sword to actually be going into a Guardian Angel, and so that in these fights where you are the Olaf, you make an engage and then you get popped. If they use something, and then we see it getting picked up, you get popped, and then you're back up at the end to try and chase up and mop up those last few players.
Yeah, and it's that AD build over the tank build. Tank typically regarded as more valuable in the late game, but if you never get to the late game, which apparently Hentai Haven seem keen on doing, definitely go for the GA build. And we're going to see Natasha Lieber get caught out here.
Yeah, actually looking like they might escape. Kathu is almost certainly going to tumble forward at the most opportunity. They will actually motor joke and flash taunts forward, takes out the jungler, and now uses this opportunity to push on forward. They're looking towards this top tower, wanting to push in, I presume, all the way towards the base here, as they do have that man advantage by...
Yeah, they have to make this push count. Thompson's in the bot lane. It's going to be a race between what the 5 of them can do versus presumably 3. 2, sorry, against this one Yorick. We'll have to see if they can trade up or not.
They almost certainly are going to be able to. They can look towards this top side tower. There's only one person there. It's Korzai. You cannot even think about going for this. You could just get run down by the Solas, as we're very much seeing. They're like, will take a lot of damage, but obviously still has that GA. They lose something yet again. But that's not too bad for them, as they managed to trade it for so much value. As Kathu dives at the fountain at 24 minutes, has to heal to survive there. But they take the inhibitor with the Baron Buff minions. They're looking to close this out as soon as they possibly can. Kathu under a lot of pressure here from the Maiden as the minions jump on towards them. 2 members now up for Claytron. Motor Joe stuck in the tower will go down. But that's one hell of a positive gain for the side of Hentai here.
Yeah, Claytrons took the game with Tom Steiner in the bot lane. It did not pay off. They've managed to take an inhibitor turret, but they've lost an inhibitor and most of an Nexus turret. And the Baron isn't done yet.
Certainly isn't. They do actually get the destruction on the bot side inhibitor, which is really nice for them. Which means they now have an avenue through which to pressure, which is exactly what you want to be able to do, because otherwise you're actually going to be struggling to look for things to do in this game other than push out waves, and you don't want to be stuck, as much as you have a pretty good late game, you don't want to be stuck just pushing out waves for the next next 15 minutes, because it feels really bad and you're not actually making any plays on the map. It makes it very difficult to actually take something.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
a big shockwave, almost nets it, but Somtha with a 4-man knocker, the taunt, the Stand United did so much work. Huge plays from the mid laner of Hentai Haven will go down again, as unfortunately seems to be the trend, but nets so much of their team as 4 kills. You just TP up top, you're all head there, and you close out the game. They're all dead for the next 20 seconds.
Yeah, I was about to say how worth it was. They got the inhibitor, they could pressure around this Infernal Drake, but one heck of a team fight from Somtha, turning around, planting his feet, goes down for the ultimate. Going to give them a clean, quite clean wipe of the team. One Nexus turret already down, and everybody on Hentai Haven's barreling their way towards it.
Yeah, I really love this aggression from Hentai Haven, showing that they can play these aggressive comps. That's exactly what we want to see from them. 26 minutes in, they're attacking the Nexus. It's gonna go down, and a beautiful 26-minute game from Hentai Haven will close out game 1 in emphatic fashion.
Yeah, ending in a 6k gold lead, nearly 7. Minions hitting both the Nexus towers on both sides, but it is going to be Haven's game. Just one really, really important team fight led to a Baron, and they did not slow down. Very impressive closeout on that game. Didn't wait to pull the trigger. Not a terrible showing from Patrons Academy. We saw some good stuff. They didn't quite execute the team fights they wanted to, but we did see sort of, with that gold deficit, still turning around and fighting where they could. But definitely Haven's coming out ahead that time.
Yeah, it certainly did. 9-0-5. There is no doubt in my mind who is the MVP for that game. Spectacular play from Delight. And true to his name, what a pleasure to watch.
Yeah, a treat to watch. Really good play from her. Found a couple of good ganks around the top side that basically rendered Tom Cena useless towards the sort of mid game. And then by the time he got to snowballing those towers, it was just too late. Really well played. And we will join you again for game 2 in a little bit of time. Thank you very much.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Game 2 of Week 7, Valanth Silver Gold League. We have CLT Academy versus Hentai Haven. Unfortunately, there's been a couple of problems. The AD carry for Claytron's Academy has had to drop out, and we have replaced them. Unfortunately, as a result of this substitution being slightly problematic, we are going to make them forfeit all their bans in response, as it is an emergency substitution. We will, however, be continuing with the series. Anyway, I am Rook, and I am joined, as prior, by Mythic Warpig, and the first ban is coming out. It's a big fat nut.
It's a big nothing. I have a prediction on the other two bands as well. Yeah, so we've got CLT Key coming straight back in for Korzai. We'll have to see what kind of flexibility this gives Hentai Havens. We've obviously had a couple of great picks they got to pop off on last game, which we'll probably be seeing this game as well. Unfortunate for Claytrons, but the show goes on. We'll have to see if they can adapt.
Indeed, we will. Going to see the first ban come through. It is going to be that Zaya away from Key here. Potentially a Key ban, would you say?
I wouldn't.
Okay.
but you can, and that's the important thing.
I do.
So that is the. I've looked at Key's page very quickly. There's Zaya, there's Lucian, there's Ezreal with 2 games. That's it. So if you were going to target ban him, Zaya is the correct pick. So it could be important. Obviously, this changes the dynamic somewhat. It's still a competitive game. They haven't forfeit, so Hentai Haven still need to win this. As I think we've just seen in the chat, that Windhowl dropped their game to Deja Vu, which means that there's a window open for Hentai Havens. They need to take it. So expect to be quite ruthless with these bans, despite things. There's that takeaway from Tom Cena, the Bruiser player. Have to see what they adapt to with the rest of this draft. I expect we'll see some focus bot side, given that we have a brand new player with presumably little synergy, who's not really an AD carry player. But maybe we'll see something like the Syndra come out. Maybe the Garanumi, that kind of stuff will have to rear its head as compensation.
Indeed, as we see a Pike getting picked up early on for Claytrons here, taking those aggressive supports, and this is definitely a big change from what we saw in.
Yeah, and I like it. It's got their own potential. It sort of says, it leans into the fact there's probably no synergy. It says, CLT Key, welcome to the team. Good luck on your own. I'm going topside. Because that's what Pike should do. So probably see him trying to make some moves around the map, trying to influence the game in the other lanes, which makes perfect sense. Olaf and Shen, a winning combo. And we see it picked up again. No reason to change things, and sadly nothing CLT can do about it. So yeah, it's a good couple of picks up, and I want to see what they try and take away and deny here. Since they aren't going to be able to ban anything away, let's see if they can pick some away.
Yeah, I don't think there's much else that you can put a lot of pressure towards. That Olaf is one of the very few things, and you know, Hentai Haven looked at it, went, well, second verse, same as the first, and they're going to go with this Olaf again. I think that's the only the pick which you could have taken away with no bans. Maybe put it on Tom Cena so they can try and get aggressive with that. Maybe try it for Netecho Libre. But regardless, I think this Olaf back in Delight's hands is going to be very difficult to deal with.
Yeah, and we'll get to see what they take now. They're going to just take the Zyra again. I mean, clearly they knew it was mid lane last time because they banned the Janna afterwards. And they had counter pick, and the Orion failed to impress. So I wouldn't even be surprised just to see it locked in again, just inconsistent.
Yeah, wouldn't be particularly surprised. I do think the Nico's definitely a very good pick for Somta here. Is going to go with it. Has been practicing it all week, so I'm pretty happy to see that. The Silas is definitely interesting. It could potentially go to Tom Cena here, but I'm expecting it for Shadowhopper.
Yeah, and it feels bad as a Nico when Silas takes your ulti because he's just better with it. We'll have to see if that comes to bite them. The Yorik's taken away from Tom Cena. Just they clearly thought it was worth banning, and it's going to be a real pinch for Claytrons here. See if they can find something, as I predict again, a non-ban. We'll have to see if they can at least get one counter pick out of whatever champion Cathu locks in. See if they can, work around that as well. because they're quite short on options for defending their own team comp, which is quite transparent at the moment with this Pyke.
Yeah, definitely. Is pretty brutal. We see the Yorick getting banned away. Interesting to see that banned away. I don't think it was a particularly big problem for Hentai Haven. If I were them, I probably would have let it go through. Let Tom Cena, have that again because it wasn't hugely relevant. The Mordekaiser, though, I do really like because it can be such a strong ability to deal with some individual hard carries, which we've seen from either Delight or Sumter being the very strong players on this Hentai Haven side.
Yeah, I like Mordecai as a champion. I don't know if he would have been particularly impactful without seeing the rest of the draft, but clearly they wanted to take it away. I haven't seen anything that suggests that Claytrons particularly play it, but clearly there's a takeaway that I've gone for. We'll have to see if they now pick something a little bit more vulnerable to the Mordecai, something perhaps needs its team. So an AD carry that's particularly squishy, or even the Yumi kind of pick.
Definitely would be very interesting. Catherine is still waiting for this pick. The Leona, again, these aggressive supports for a Dorkable. Definitely something I like to see, as we discussed before.
Yeah, it's the kick CLT key in the face comp. So far, we'll probably see something aggressive from Cthulhu. I'm expecting like Tristana or a Kaiser, that kind of thing, just to get on the face of whatever champion CLT key leans into.
As we do see the Darius being hovered here. Makes a lot of sense for Tom Cena's champion pool. We'll get locked in here. Definitely interesting to see that playing into the Shen here.
Yeah, I mean, it's Tom Cena again saying, I'm going to try and put this team on my back. He tried with the York, didn't quite make the impact in time, although we did see him manage to finally crack an inhibitor. We'll have to see if with Darius he can say, the early game was a problem, and I'm taking this champion to say, no, it's not going to be anymore. As we see the Lucian for CLT Key in that dueling style, we'll have to find out if Cthulhu's just happy to take whatever counter pick he wants and kind of punish it. And there is that Tristana, his most played champion, a real comfort pick. So I expect this to be quite a punishing bot lane for the Havens here, as they've both got picks they're quite strong with, and obviously they've got the synergy that you'd think Claytrons don't have.
To be fair, out of all the AD carries for a mid lane player to play, I think Lucian's actually really strong because it does lend itself to playing like one of those more combo heavy mages, trying to get those passive procs off. So I really like that pick for Key here. And comboed with the Pyke, if you have the individual play level, you can work this out. And especially on the Tristana, if the Tristana makes a mistake on timing that jump, you can easily go down.
That's a good point. And yeah, as you said, Lucian keys into a key ability. Like the spacing of Lucian is the main component, right? You're short range, you have to be able to get in and get out and use your dash correctly. I imagine CLT is fine playing that champion. So it's whether or not, they can burst down a Tristana and Leona before the CC lands and really locks them down. Because Pyke doesn't offer, he does have CC, but it's not so reliable against Tristana. As you say, just jump away if he buffed the rocket jump in time.
Yeah, it is pretty lenient timing, so I do expect Kathu, who has a lot of practice on this champion, to be able to hit it most of the time. But with this aggressive pick in terms of getting off ganks early with this Jarvan J4 for Netetra Libre, I'm actually really liking this composition because Solus can trade early towards the mid lane. Darius wants to get aggressive. Lucian Pyke wants to get aggressive. And this is a whole different dimension to Claytron's Academy that we haven't seen from the last game, because obviously they've only had one game, but they were playing a relatively late game style there, and it didn't really work out for them, did it?
Not at all. And as you're right, we get to see, what I hope we see anyway, is Jarvan varying up a little bit of a jungle path. So he's keeping Havens guessing as to which lane he's going to visit, because Lucian, Pyke, and Darius combo with the Jarvan is a kill threat no matter where you go. So if you can kind of mask where you're going to appear at level 3, that's going to be very, very important. So it's if Havens can ward around it, and most importantly, if Claytrons can vary it up and hide it enough that they get this advantage going. Because, like I said, with this Pyke, you probably want to be leaving your lane. You want to get your Lucian ahead, so I expect him to lean there. But on the same token, Darius with 2 kills in his pocket is going to monster any lane, especially taking Ignite into a Shen, who really doesn't do a great deal for himself in the lane. So have to see where they path, and that's going to be the most important factor for this game's sort of first 10 minutes.
Yeah, I've been actually really impressed with Motojo on this Shen, especially in game one. Not playing for themselves, but definitely able to make those plays set up for other players. A lot of awareness with that Stand United as well, using it as for aggressive engages, keeping something alive as something goes for a play. I think that top mid synergy, which is not something generally you talk about very much because it's not normally very relevant, is definitely very high between those two players. They're definitely on the same page and great communication for Hentai Haven so far in this series.
Yeah, you're right. Mojo did play that well. It's not taken away. He clearly shows he knows how to pilot the Shen into a Yorick, a kind of impressive matchup. Did have a helping hand from Delight, but I think even in his individual plays, he was very good. So again, can they capitalize that to go aggressive? Probably towards this bot lane. Is Delight going to make those sort of run-ins? Is Natasha Libre going to decide that level 2 is not the time to fight an Olaf with red buff? That could also be a factor in the game. Who knows?
Yeah, certainly could be. We're going to get the game in just a second. So I want to ask you quickly to just, in 5 seconds, outline the person you're looking at the most in this game and why.
I want it to be Shadowhopper because it's a Silas. Silas can change the game. He can match Shen, grab his ulti in a side lane. He's got the teleport as well, so he can just do what Shen does as well as Shen can. If they ever end up in a 1v1, it's going to be on if he can make space to make those plays and be consistent. Otherwise, eyes are on Delight, right? Eyes are on Delight to replicate that performance he had before. If he goes, gets a couple of kills and can go very aggressive like he did, we're going to see this damage, this Guardian Angel Olaf, which, as we've proven, is a bit of a monster. You've got the Jarvan that sort of soft counters him if you want to be stuck in a pit with an Olaf, but that's the only real tool they have to deal with it.
Yeah, it is very difficult to do, and Delight, very impressive on that champion. I would agree with you on that. Delight is the player I'm watching. I want to see some impressive and aggressive bot lane plays from Catherine and Dorkable as well. They did have some very interesting engages in that bot lane early on in game one, and I want to see them use these comfort picks and make a really good use of it this time. On the other hand, Dark Chance didn't have a huge amount of opportunity to show off in the last game, especially because they were behind a lot in that bot lane. But I was very impressed with that Braum play, so I'm excited to see them play Project Pike. And if you want to pick a player on this in this game for me, who didn't perform particularly fantastically well in the first game and will do this game, I'm looking at Dark Chance.
Agreed. It's a Braum. You're never going to notice what he's doing unless he catches, say, a Varus ulti or an Asher or something like that. Hard to make the plays when they don't have any sort of long-range CC like that. But as you said, he did perform consistently well, and I want to see what he can do on this Pike, especially as they're sort of in that handicapped position where they have to decide, do we just sack our bot lane and admit that we've lost because of synergy, or do we double down, go for this aggression like we seem to have done, and get a lead?
Come on, I won't hurt you.
Indeed.
I promise.
Gonna see if we have any aggression towards this early game. I'm definitely looking towards both teams because they have these aggressive supports who can be playmakers and strong level 1 junglers. The Olaf is exceedingly strong, and with the passive on Jarvan, you can get a lot of bursts. So I wouldn't be surprised to see some early aggression. But it looks like we're just taking the line of scrimmage.
Yep, looks like they're going to stand and look at each other as you'd expect. No real action. I'm surprised a little bit. You often expect to see people grouping around the Luna. She's got that great that Q ability, the shield, which at the very least is going to get you a free ward if you want to it. So a little surprising not to see some action, but it looks like it's going to be standard. And again, it's going to be if Natasha Libre can hide where he started. I think it's going to be very important.
Mm-hmm. Generally, you do see a lot of Natasha Libre toward Jarvan towards that red buff, I feel. Going for that Krugs route, clearing the entirety of the bot side and then moving on from there. But it will depend on how they plan to do that. The interesting thing is that Delight has actually, I feel, managed to hide where they're starting, at least initially, because of the usage of Nika. Right. Hello? Right, so we're going to see a lot of things across the map. They're definitely where we're looking for the power spikes are towards these level 6s, because you've got things like Silas, the Nico, for Claytron's, definitely looking towards level 6. You've got the Decimate, you've got the Silas Ultimate, you've got Cataclysm, you've got the Pike Execute as well, I think it's, Death from Below, all very strong abilities in setting up for that. So I'm definitely looking towards that as we see level 2 go towards the bot side. Aggression from Dark Chance, however, the jump is there from Kathu as mid lane. Again, another piece of aggression. Somtha looking for these level 2 kills, makes the flash forward, trades the flash, but doesn't quite get the kill, as both mid lanes will be sitting down there and setting up for Somtha to take control of this lane with that Glacial Augment and with that range advantage, most important.
Yeah, absolutely. And Nico getting ahead, not really unexpected. Shadowhopper's going to be happy with that. The Ignite is down. That is kill pressure for about 3 minutes. He gets to play around with, as he has the TP if he wants to reset. But looks like he's going to stick around and try and just endure this lane despite the massive CS disadvantage. We'll have to see if he can play it safe. I'm surprised he isn't facing him, sort of using a TP advantage here to try and take over. And just see him being aggressed on again.
Yeah, we do. And that is the kill for Somtha there. Big frag onto Shadowhopper there. Again, taking advantage of that range advantage. And that's what Somtha's been doing, using these early strengths in order to push into that mid game and take control of the early game.
Yeah, and now you see Silas with the TP. Just use it earlier, man. That's not very good, unfortunately. Adorkful blows his Ignite for an engage, however, so there's another little advantage there for the Patron's bot lane that maybe they can capitalize on as the hook comes out and misses properly.
Yeah, Kathu definitely giving themselves a wide berth, doesn't want to get aggressed on too hard. Motojo taking a bit of damage into tower there as Thomasina is looking to abuse this Darius. And those bleed stacks really...
Thompson is currently taking a bit more damage than he wanted from the tower. Unfortunately, we've not seen really Natecho get out onto the lane. He sort of did a full clear bot side, and then headed to a stop side to take his blue. And is now looking to sort of threaten Motojo. Not really had the early game impact we wanted to see. And we can see he's now a camp down, and the Olaf's just managed to get a base off as he's going to step out onto the map. So jungle's not having the impact we want. We'll have to see if Thompson can make an advantage on his own in the top side.
Indeed we will. Thomasina should be able to do it. They did take some good trades early on there, and I have been impressed with them in general, so definitely looking towards them to actually be able to do that. The thing is it's going to be very difficult when there's so much mid pressure, prompting Natecho Libre to potentially put aggression towards there. Dashes forward, big mistake from Key here, gets taken down by Kathu and Adorkable. Big early trade as the bot side takes advantage for Hentai Haven, and Thomasina eats the aggression from Delight. Natecho Libre is here to potentially make that big flash from Delight there, eating a lot of damage with that Ignite going down from Thomasina. Might just about go down. He does get it. Natecho Libre with, I would argue, one of their best ganks in this series so far, stopping Delight in his tracks.
An excellent counter gank. You don't expect the electrocute on Jarvan, but it pays off. As we see in the bot lane, CLTK just going in, the Dark Chance has already used his E to disengage. You're seeing that lack of synergy, and it has cost them there. As you know, he just dashes into Ileona, who says thank you very much, roots him down, and the kill comes through. No real plus size whether it goes into the hands of Tristana. A little bit of a rough start for Claytrons there. But they do get that turnaround counter gank with the Jarvan, which is going to at least normalize some of the pressure. And as we're expecting, a little bit of a CSD for the Darius anyway, who's gotten Sheath, interestingly enough. I'm not sure. He's building a Triforce.
That's because he can't afford the Phage for the Triforce. But it is a bit strange. No, I think even Stinger would be better, probably.
It's just odd. You don't really see a Sheena, so. But anyway, we'll have to see what Olaf can do. He's been put behind, which obviously last game he was not. So we'll have to see if last game was just a product of naturally snowballing, or if he can find himself creating a lead as the level 6s are starting to come out across the map definitely for the Shen and for Somtha in the mid lane. See what kind of plays they can make, because that Shen Nico combo can be quite deadly.
Indeed it can, as you can push forward with that ultimate from Nico and not eat as much retribution as you would normally expect, because obviously walking forward trying to charge an ultimate can be pretty detrimental to your life total. However, when you have Stand United, you feel a lot more comfortable with it.
Yeah, it's like Submarine 2.0. We used to see the Twitch in the old days. Now we've got Nico who can just do 2 seconds of stealth or so and arrive with a shed. See if they can try and pull that off. But yeah, not as much action as we saw in the previous game. The pace a little bit slowed down, which I think really is going to play into Claytron's hand. Yes, they probably have the earlier game aggressive team, but to be a little unstable and a bit tilted from this sort of swap of a play. Maybe slowing down the game, getting into a rhythm is going to be what they need here. So despite it not looking great for their champions on paper, this might be what they need for the players themselves.
Indeed it might. I mean, you do have to be aware the Silas becomes even more terrifying as the game goes on. It has access to a couple of very useful elements. Nothing other than potentially the Pop Blossom that's particularly teamfight changing, but a lot of utility across the board, and that's what we're expecting here.
Yeah, it's going to give them that long-range engage if he wants to take the Leona's ult, which they really don't have otherwise. So I do like it as we see a fight in the bot lane.
Indeed we do. We see Kathu taking a lot of damage there. The culling coming out. There's the Stand United. Adorkable. Unable to find the re-engage though. Motojo teleports down just to save Kathu. They can't really turn anything on.
And that is exactly what Claytron's want to see. Trade in Ignite for a flash and AD carry and pull the Stand United from Motojo means that they can't make those aggressive plays. Whilst there are 4 of them bot side, it does look like Delight's going to try and sneak into this Dragon Pit and take it away like we've seen before. But top side, they're just going to trade up to some turret plays.
Well, it's going to be the TP coming on in as we're actually going to see that dragon go pretty low here. A lot of wards going over the wall from Dark Chance. But with the TP, Motojo kind of fends off those 2 players waiting to try and get extra tower plating and mitigating the amount of money which they get in response for this Earthdrake.
Yeah, and it's a good play from Claytron, and like you say, good TP to counterplay. But they do force those globals out of Motojo, who has the 2 global advantage over considered with the Ignite. So getting both of those out for the sake of a fight where the AD carry still lost Flash, Claytrons are going to be happy with it. And you can't really knock him for losing the Drake. It's this Olaf pick early on. He's very good at taking these objectives and very good at battling anyone he comes across. So Claytrons aren't going to be too unhappy with the start. They've managed to pull themselves about 700 gold lead. Despite being a kill down and a Drake down. So it's been going quite well for them.
Indeed, they have some good farming across the board. Those tower plates also adding to that total does keep them around healthy sum in terms of their gold advantage. Also, again, something both of these teams have been very good at is maintaining vision, especially in the enemy jungle. And we see that here as Natecha Libre and Shadowhopper both getting very aggressive and popping from there.
Yeah, and it's nice to see people working together to go get vision. Often it's a death sentence if you go on your own. Good for them to be working together. Just having a look at where the gold is. It's nowhere you wouldn't expect it. This Darius has managed to get himself about an 800 gold lead. Something has managed to find himself 600, 400 himself, which makes sense given the kill. But the AD carry is pretty much dead even, which not great news if you're a Lucian into Tristana, but again, good news I guess if you are this bot lane who haven't got the synergy, who gave away a free kill, you know. It's things could be worse to play.
They certainly could be. They could be going as badly as they did in the first game. Delight, unable to make a huge impact in this game so far. Still reeling from that counter gank from Tetra Libre early on there. Definitely showing up a lot better as we see aggression on the bot side again. We see so much damage coming out from Kathu, trying to get that kill onto Key, but it just wasn't enough, and instead gets executed by Dark Chance. Adorkable locked up in that Cataclysm, and now it's Natecha Libre. It seems like so far it's been better jungle wins, and Natecha Libre definitely showing up in this second game.
Yeah, much better performance from him. Jarvan really working out for him. I mean, it's an unfortunate, I guess you can say, from Kathu, who very overestimates his damage, decides he's dead anyway, and just goes for it. Dark Chance lands the great ultimate, and Natecha Libre is there for the cleanup. It's a really good play, as we see Tom Cena going down the top lane, unable to get his ulti off. Or maybe he did get it off and didn't quite get the kill. But a really good passage of play nonetheless from Claytron, who managed to find an advantage in that bot side.
Yeah, really nicely played as a counter punch. This is good as well because Delight gets some cash in the bank, and we'll try and use this to push on forward. But it's still like 600 gold down on the Tetra Libre, who has been very active on this map.
Rock, my favorite thing's happening. Someone's doing Rift Herald without anyone prompting them. It's great.
Yeah, that delight.
Before 14 minutes, we're going to see a Rift Herald go down, which is going to unlock this map for someone. I presume he's going to pass that over to Moses Joe and give him some placement pressure. It's really good that it's going down, and we'll have to see what I can do with it. Struggled to make too much of an impact in the lanes aside from that one gang. So maybe this is his way back into the game, sort of paying forward his earlier death.
He has looking towards heading back towards the jungle. Was expecting him to go towards top, but didn't actually want to go for that straight away. There is a lot of vision though, which will prompt him being very much spotted out as he tries to get aggressive there. Shadowhopper unable to actually find anything with the stolen pop boss, and instead he uses it for that wave.
Yeah, he'd been hanging on to it for a while. Took it quite early, so it's not terrible as size. You just now want to go and find Delight somewhere so you can run down this this Nico. But this game, not a terribly fast pace, but probably the pace that Claytrons want. They've managed to somehow creep in a 2k gold lead. They have lost the Rift Herald, so that will make it back some of it. But it's going to be on this job, and if he can carry on with this lead, he's got two kills to his name. Has had a decent amount of pressure so far, and has even been counter-jungling away from the Earth to make up the difference with Earth being such a fast player. Teleports to the top lane to join Tom Cena in this fight.
Yeah, this is a big opportunity. Won't have much in the way of ultimate. Tom Cena doing so much damage. The Stand United will just about save Delight here. What a brilliant play. However, on the bot side, Dark Chance strikes again on this Pyke, finding 2 kills so far and looking to continue to get aggressive. They want to be trying to take these power plates. They don't have much longer to try and get them. It doesn't look like they'll secure it, but again, taking control of this bot lane is exactly what you want for this solution. It's in fact necessary. Interesting dive there from Dark Chance, though. Cathu will fade away into nothingness due to those minion shots, but that's going to be aggression again towards the tower, and all across the map, things seem to be happening at breakneck pace.
Yeah, it's suddenly amped up, and I want to just go against everything we said early on, where we thought the top side was going to be where Claytrons play around. This bot lane comes and 2v2 kills Cathu and Adorkable. Takes down the owner with the Ignite. Loses top side, but manages to get that turret down early, and has somehow propelled it to a 3k gold lead at 15 minutes, despite losing that Rift Herald. It's been a very good start to the game as we see yet more action.
Indeed we do. Sumpter attempting to use that hot boss and doesn't quite get the kill. Has been stolen by Shadowhopper. Watch for this counteraction, but unfortunately isn't able to find too much. There's a nice hook, there's a nice stun. We do see so much damage going into the light here. And again, another play made by Dark Chance will secure it.
Yeah, and I think if this goes to game 3, Pyke will not be being seen again. Dark Chance really showing he knows his champion. Just some great engages in play. Let's see more action down the mid lane, setting up this Infernal Drake. Gonna be something wiped out.
Yeah, big play there by Dark Chance, using the flash, secures Somther, aggression towards this, Infernal Drake. And this is CLT taking an objective, so taking a kill and moving straight onto an objective. This is exactly what we want to see.
Yeah, this is perfect from CLT. They've identified now is the time to play this game before he gets his range, gets his item. Let's just go. They take 2 successive kills. They take the Drake. They're looking to pressure this mid lane tower. They're probably not going to get too much work done, but they are pressuring as the Rift Herald is spawned for some reason in the mid lane, and Delight is going to try and run them down.
He didn't have much left on the clock, so is going to move to that in the mid lane just to get some value out of it. Otherwise, it feels pretty bad. They hit the eye though before it even gets to charge. It doesn't look like it's going to get anything. It's just clogged up by those.
Yeah, yet to see a Rift Herald knocking out a single plate. I'll hold out hope. But it's a really good turn of play from the Patrons. Again, just impressed with how they sort of managed to somehow step it up again. The item breaks came in with that Essence Ring of BF sword for Lucian, who's just decided now it's time to be on the go button. They've done a really good job, and we still see battles from Darius Shen. It's mostly never going to end up in kills because Shen's just not going to die, and Darius is unable to lock him down. But the Tetra Libre is still looking for action.
Yeah, we are Somther looking to get aggressive. The Solar Flare, though, from the Tetra Libre, from Shadowhopper, will secure that out from the Tetra Libre. And red team turret taking down a mid lane. Again, Claytron's looking very strong here.
Yeah, macro play going very well. Unfortunately, the only thing they've not taken so far this game is that Mountain Drake, which you have to think if they managed to grab would be a very early Baron. So Henhaven's going to be counting themselves lucky they managed to snatch that away before things got too bad. But this is just very good from Claytron. So they're looking to set another dive up in this top lane and knock down this tower.
Dude, it does. And Claytron's just taking control of this game, taking objectives all over the map, and there's nothing right now that you can do if you are Hentai Haven. You need to regroup, to be fair, set up vision again, where they have very little that's actually of any use to them.
Yeah, I'm going to point out, someone in the chat just said we're a bit behind the stream. I'm going to move us forward. Looks like there's going to just be a little bit of pressure in the lane. We expect Staying United coming out aggressively, and can Hentai Haven turn this around? See Dark Chance goes down.
Yeah, we do see him go down. Kill onto the Techo Libre there. Kathu dealing a lot of damage here, but unable to actually secure the kill themselves. It does go down to someone else.
Oh, it's just onto his pocket, and he took the big shutdown from that. He's going to be very happy walking with 600 gold there. As Hentai Haven's going to secure this mid tower, and the game has completely been opened up. Motojo trading his ulti for Tom Cena's bit of pressure on the top side, but we see Kathu going up. They're not going to lose anything for that play. That's very good from Hentai Havens. Looks like they just found their items, decided we need to stem the tide, and so they did. It's been very good play.
Certainly has. Looking towards these mid lanes, we have seen a lot of very impressive fights. Kathu stops the recall there. Tom Cena still trying to run away, will be going down, doesn't even manage to get the Noxian guillotine there. So won't get the kill back onto Kathu there, even though they do go very low. A lot of vision control, again, being prioritized by Claytron.
Yeah, so what I want to see now from both teams is them to sort of take stock, realize where they can find these windows of fights. It is going to be around this Shen's ultimate time. We saw that it both saved Kathu's life and enabled them to get a kill and tower. They're going to be playing around that. If Claytrons can't find windows when that's down, such as we just saw, then Hentai Haven still have a really good shot with this game. It's going to be on that Darius creating pressure Shen can't match, and so far, speccing into the Ninja Tabi, speccing into the Sunfire Cape against the Triforce, he has found those windows and is doing a good job staying relevant. He is 40 CS down, but overall, he's contributed to 5 of the 8 kills that Hentai Havens have. He's making the impact on the map he needs to, despite being down in the lane.
Certainly is. Very impressive play. I've been really impressed with Motojo Shen in various respects, and just waiting, playing as a team member to try and counteract the very aggressive and very self-centric playstyle that Tom Cena has actually been showing.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta be selfish as Darius. That's not to take away from him, but he has been absorbing that pressure quite well. He has barely gone down, but hasn't died at all this game, despite it. What I want to see is, one, if Dark Chance can get away here, which is looking like a yes, somehow. And 2, if this means that Claytrons have the window to take down the Infernal Drake, which has just spawned, as all of Hentai Havens are up in the top side.
Yeah, they will be able to secure that almost certainly, as you say. Hentai Haven just caught out in the macro rotation. Blue team secure that, and there's very little for Hentai Haven to actually do on the map. They're most likely going to clear these waves, recall, and then reset for another objective. They have vision control towards Baron, but they aren't able to force in this situation. It would just be a 5v5 team fight, and being the ones that started the Baron, they would be on back foot.
Yeah, and you don't know if it's luck or judgment. Dark Chance there stalling all of that time. I mean, he's going to say it was definitely a decision that he made, but you have to wonder if he just got a bit lucky. But even if not, Claytrons had both the waves pushed up, the Nerds and the towers were under threat, and he managed to pull all of Hentai Havens on the side. So it's a good bit of macro players. They're set now on 2 Infernal Drake, and a team that really, really wants to be dishing out damage. You have 4, maybe even 5 if you count the Jarvan damage dealers.
That is an obscene amount of burst. Destroys Key here. This is his ultimate Ragnarok, but he'll be able to escape. A lot of resource investors, Motojo does come towards this mid lane to keep Delight alive. Looking towards now that Baron, they want to catch out the Tetra Libre. That would be a perfect opportunity for them to do this Baron, but aren't quite able to do it. They're just going to turn onto it and continue this fight. There is vision. They're aware of the fight that could be ensuing.
Yeah, I don't think they can do it safely. They don't really know where everyone is. They've got the Stand United, but again, that was Haven playing around those Stand United windows like we talked about. Now the ball is in Claytron's court. They have about a minute and a half. What can they do now? Mojo can't be all around the map, and in fact, their Silas can. They've got to find an opportunity here. Otherwise, it's just going to be trading back and forth kills towards Haven, which they really can't afford to be bleeding with this Lucian, with this Darius comp.
Going to be posturing around as Tom Cena moving very aggressively into the opposing side. No cares in the world for any potential picks. A lot of brash movement will pay off for him. Does force back members of Hentai Haven. The TP is still up for Motojo, so even if this fight starts out... Oh wait, sorry, he's realized it's just back. It wasn't him who backed it, was Delight who actually made that pass. Is going to move back towards it. They need to get back in there, clear out a lot of these wards, and from there, Bait Baron find the fight that they need, and from there, Hentai Haven will be able to close out this game. And if they close out this game, this is...
Yeah, you're right. There's a lot of scary pick potential. You don't want to face check into a Shen. You don't want to face check into a Learner. You do not want to face check into a Nico. All three of those, that's a death sentence. So if they can get this vision, like you said, then they have a good advantage. I don't expect Claytrons to play that statically, though. With this pipe, with the Silas, who has the TP, although it's not up. I want to see them spreading across the map. I want to see them finding picks outside of any sort of team fight areas where Hentai Haven's going to be happy. Especially if they can sort of leverage on this Darius, get him up to speed, because currently he's actually behind on gold to the Shen.
Yeah, I mean, it has just been very impressive play across the board from Motojo in keeping up and being aware of what's happening on the map, rotating to follow it, catching these side waves while still having that cross-map pressure with the TP, with the Stand United, definitely playing exactly as we should be expecting from a great threat.
We need to see Claytrons going in now. They have about 10 seconds left before the Shen's going up. They need to find a pick just there, because this Shen is in the bot lane uncontested. They have a 5-man stack and an easy window to get to 3 of them. But now the Shen ult is up again. That window is gone. They have to sit back safely once more. So if they do try and take this fight, I don't see it going too well for them, as it looks like Hentai Haven, aware that they now have the Shen ult, are looking to be a little bit more problematic as the Nico's grouping.
Yeah, they're just happy to let the Shen push in on the bot side. They don't have to take this fight. They're going to even have the jump away. Somtha, that's a massive fallout route! Hot Blossom from downtown. Somtha securing another fantastic team fight for his team. You see so many members of Claytron get completely destroyed. Kathu even survives that. No one falls from Hentai Haven. They secure the Baron, and what a team fight.
And Somtha just decides that's his moment, plays that so well. Adorable didn't even get his ulti off. He didn't even need it. Somtha just roots them all in CC. A triumph comes into Kathu. This is going to be a Baron. This is going to be a lot of pressure and a huge gold swing, as that 3k gold lead is now a 700 gold deficit in the favor of Hentai Havens. Excellent play and a really good collapse in the team fight, working around those windows and just finding the engage they needed.
Going to be pushing towards his top side, looking to cash in on these towers that are still standing on the map. We should be cutting through it like a nut through hot butter.
They can keep going here if they wanted to.
Yeah,
Jarvan's going for an ocean drink. They are going to back away. Reset. I presume this means they're going to sort of, well, funnel themselves down the lane, use the TP of Shen and sort of one for it. But really, Claytrons get nothing out of that team fight. Not a single kill, clean ace, and an Ocean Drake for consolidation, which at 26 minutes is not the most important dragon.
Indeed. I mean, it seems to have at least gotten them something where it's very difficult for them to actually make any plays. If they're able to stall that long, we're talking a long time. We're talking a good 8-10 minutes. They could be setting up for the Elder Dragon looking later on the game. But it's not really super relevant because it looks like Hentai Haven are going to be able to close this out relatively soon.
If this game goes down, but if this game goes on the right, oh, I'd be surprised. Very well played from Somfy there. Kathy gets pitted out, but again, as you go back to, Elder Drake is not supporting this game. I don't see Haven's giving them even a chance with it. As they're just going to bow down the mid lane. It's 2v4. The inhibitor turret is being pressured, and no one is there to guard it. This is going to be inhibitor. Maybe they're going to look to pressure the Nexus tower.
And here they are. Somfy, again, that huge playmaker for this team. Definitely, if you're looking to take down this team, Somfy is the one to watch. The light in the early game wasn't looking so great, has found a couple of opportunities now, but that solid rock for the team has been Somfy, who has been able to make plays, take control of their lane early on, and create pressure around the map because they are aware and keen to rotate as well.
Yeah, and you say something, I say Motor Joe, to be honest. 2-0 and 8. Only member in this game not to have died. Now got the one more, now got the Sunfires. Don't imagine he'll be dying anytime soon. And has absorbed the pressure from a kill lane with Ignite so well. This team has just had every window they needed to be aggressive. Yes, Delight didn't maybe make the impact this game as he did the previous one, but Motor Joe has just decided, I don't need your help, jungler. I'll do this on my own, and it's done just fine.
Indeed it is. And that was a pretty successful Baron. They take the mid inhibitor, they push all the way to the bot inhibitor tower. From here, they just need to continue to pressure. If they crack open that bot side, from there, the base starts to fall apart. It gives them opportunities to push in the top side. And once all three of those inhibitors down, game's up.
And obviously, we didn't have the budget for the Baron power play, but I can tell you it was about 7k gold swing, which is obviously very big. So, yeah, Haven's looking much happier in this game than they were 5-6 minutes ago, where we were thinking maybe Clay could have snuck it away. Now the ball really is in Haven's court. If they manage to drop it this time, I'd be surprised. As we see them grouping up, sticking Motor Joe up in that side lane like we've seen before, and presumably going for that 1-4 split.
Understandably so. Again, has that stand United, as you say, and that's been Motor Joe. You were talking about how fantastic he was. Makes great use of that side lane pressure, and sets up their team and tries to split players apart before they go for that team, before they find that perfect engage, and forces hesitation, indecision, and also brash moves from the opposing side. And that has been a great opportunity for Somfy to capitalize upon.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, creating pressure. It shows now in the items. The only person even in touching distance of their lone opponent, as Motor Joe, is absorbing more pressure. The only person in even touching distance is Kathu against CLT Key. He's actually just slightly ahead with a Vamp Scepter, both on 3 items. Everybody else on Haven's is at least an item ahead of their counterpart. And, you know, that's not a situation you particularly want to be in when the second inhibitor turret is now under threat.
Indeed it is. Good hook there from Dark Chance. Won't lead to anything, unfortunately, because Kathu has that jump, and there's no real way to get on in there. Kathu healed out of range. There's the pop blossom. Dark Chance isn't long for this world. Shadowhopper getting harassed out by Delight here. Goes down to the fadeaway shot from Kathu, and this is looking like it's going to be it. Hentai Haven taking control. 2 players only remaining for Claytrons here. The wave comes in. Kathu turns towards this Nexus tower. One goes down, the other is soon to follow, and in a 3-game series in 2-0 fashion, Hentai Haven looking very dominant against the new team to the league.
Absolutely, and they will be very happy with this win. With their direct competition dropping a game today, they needed to get this win. They did. A really well played team fight at the end there. The Claytrons saw a window, they thought they had it, but they're just too far behind in the stat check. And Haven's close out what was a very explosive mid-game and end the series 2-0.
Indeed they do. Fantastic play all around from Hentai Haven. We did see flashes of greatness from the side of Claytrons. We saw Nat Tetra Libre have a particularly fantastic game in comparison to how that first one looked, where they were basically transparent, and Dark Chance able to show that they are a great playmaker on this pike. Unfortunately, they don't have the synergy yet. They are a new team. They haven't played together very often. And I think looking forward, while they don't have much time less in this split, looking at next split, they definitely have big opportunities to play and to improve.
Absolutely, and let's not take it away. They're in obviously a disadvantaged state with no bans and probably a little bit of mental game wearing down on them. Not a terrible performance at all from the roster. I actually want to highlight Dark Chance, who early game was finding some good plays. We saw Natasha Libre with that early game pathing, not the best, but managed to bring it back and get a couple of great ganks off. There is definitely a flicker of light here, and not a team to be discounted. But Henta Haven ruled the day with a great performance from Motor Joe, from Santha, from Delight in the first game. Catherine and Dorkable being very consistent both games. A solid performance, a little uncharacteristic from them, but really good to see them turn to form in this one. And we'll have to see how the rest of the season plays out for them, as they are fighting for their lives for a playoff spot.
Dude, they will hopefully going to be able to succeed at that. They have a match versus Windhall next week, which will be that decider to see who makes it into playoffs. Definitely a one to watch. Until then, I have been Rook, and with me has been Mythic Warpig. And thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Oh, I've just seen MVP in the chat. MVP, who
Oh, shit. That's actually very hard.
Motor Joe or something?
Yeah, I'll let you have this one. You can have Motor Joe.
I value consistency. I'll give it to Motor Joe. I don't want to take anything away from this team fight from Santha. Well played, and you definitely carried those fights.
All right, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks very much.